Belgium versus Portugal. And I want to harp back to what you said, like, I think at the beginning, our first Euro preview, you're like, Belgium's time is done. It has passed. Those guys, they're older, they don't have company anymore or whatever. Fam, they're still a
They're still
clinical
they're still they're
team,
still number one ranked in the world right
number
now.
one ranked in the world team. So,
Well, you can't be number one ranked in the world for how many years and still not win an international title. Like, it's not making sense, bro. Like the way
mhm.
the number one ranking works, I don't know. Is it like the points that they used to? But yeah, we have to see some trophies, man.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know how they do it. It has to
it's
be
by
based on,
points and stuff, right? It's about how many games
yeah.
you win, how many important games you're winning, stuff like that. But how many trophies are you winning? Like
Yeah, but the thing
Portugal
is
won the
about
last Euros, France won the World Cup. Like the Asian country to win the Asian Cup, whatever, the North American Cup, the African Cup of Nations, all those stuff. You gotta add more points for winning those big trophies. Like
hmm
not here winning against Belarus and you think you're number one, bro. No, 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 no.
okay. But what's interesting about Belgium is that, like, the squad, if they're at full strength, they're obviously deadly. You have Eden Hazard that was coming off, like, he had some injuries, so
Yeah,
he finally it was finally that the last game they played was really, like, the first time he really got to
that's
play
the
like
first time he
extended
played 90
minutes.
minutes. 90
Yeah,
minutes in like a season, in like a year or so. Like that's
and you
crazy.
needed him to do that because going into the round of 16, that's the type of guy you could
You
rely
need
on.
They need everybody, bro.
Kevin De Bruyne also coming back from injuries.
Yeah,
But he came back a bit earlier. But as soon as Kevin De Bruyne comes back, you see the way the squad plays. Like they're, Kevin De Bruyne is just world class. Like he always gives them an opportunity to win, and he's like the missing piece that was happening in the midfield. Like he really connects the strikers in midfield,
exactly.
and he's not only doing that in the midfield. He's doing it from he could go from doing it for the wing. He could do it
Yeah, you
from
can go.
left
Yeah, you
side,
can
right
go wide.
side,
Yeah,
and then he's scoring as well. So going into the matchup versus Portugal, Portugal it's gonna be a tough task because when those guys are playing at full strength and full ability, they're like one of the best passing teams out there.
Portugal hasn't really been great in the group stage,
Hmm
but that's the same thing that happened last time. They
Exactly.
they barely got in, but they end up winning it, right?
hmm
Because when you have a player like Ronaldo on your team who's clutch, like you always have a chance,
hmm
right? When you have a player like Bruno Fernandez, Bernardo Silva, Diego Jota, like they got attackers for days, man.
hmm
So it's all about like I don't think Belgium defense has been tested as much yet throughout this whole competition. So
Yeah.
an attack like Portugal is gonna test them like
With
massively.
waves, like
You know what I
I was
mean?
like, we saw what happened last game with France.
With the
They're
France game, like
they're
bro,
attacking. One thing about that I'm worried about Portugal is, well, actually, I guess maybe they maybe figured it out. But what happened in the Portugal Germany game is they kept getting scored on the same way. You have Gosens coming on one side, you have Kimmich coming on the other side, and most of the time it was back post to Gosens, goal, back post to Gosens,
and
um, and then cross or something. Like they kept switching the play because the fullbacks
the
got in so
fullbacks weren't.
high, and the
Yeah,
Portugal defense was so they wanted to stay compact so bad, like so bad
they gave up the
that
wings.
they gave up the wings. And I think the
But
reason they wanted to stay compact so bad is because they also have to pay attention to Kai Havertz because that guy, man, he's a scorer.
because
But damn,
the way Germany's playing, I think they're playing with false nine. They're not playing with a
hmm
direct striker, right?
yeah,
And Germany wants to control the midfield.
hmm
So when you stay compact, you're limiting them in that aspect, right? But
hmm
giving up the wings is also playing into their hands. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So um, Belgium doesn't use too much wing play,
hmm
right? Hazard's like it's a different style. I feel like, and that's one thing about Belgium. Like I feel like they're still like individualistic. You know what I mean with their build up and their tactics.
yeah,
Right? It's not really like we have a style of play. This is how we build up the play, and this is how we dissect you, and this is how we win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they rely on Hazard, sometimes they rely on De Bruyne, sometimes they just rely on Lukaku's goals and stuff like that. So with that kind of matchup, right? Like I kind of favor Portugal a little bit. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
they have the
Because Portugal has
experience.
a, and they have a style of, they have more of a style of play
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you've seen it throughout the tournament.
Like they've been
I'd
playing
say.
this way throughout the tournament, and then that's worked for them and stuff like that, right? I have to remember, not only did they win the Euros, right? They actually won the Nations League that
Yeah.
last year or the year before that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have like a good amount of experience coming into this tournament with like playing high level games and stuff like that. So like
Mm-hmm. Not only
I
that,
want Belgium to win, but
not only that, but Ronaldo is on form. He already had, I think he has 5 goals this tournament.
that's 5 goals already.
Tied the international goal scoring record. Going into next game. He might be the top male scorer in football in football history, right?
You know what I mean?
So that guy is showing up, and you can always. Ronaldo's here, and I think Ronaldo always shows up, unless he's like injured or whatever. But with Ronaldo showing up, I'm giving Portugal like a lot. Like I favor Portugal a lot because
Yeah,
I know Ronaldo ain't leaving
because
anytime soon, man.
when you have that X factor, like on your team, like you kind of have that edge, kind of have that motivation, you kind of have that belief,
Hmm.
right? And you can see like even when they played France, like when they went down and stuff like that, when they got penalties, they still had the belief that they could win this game. Even the later stage of the game, they were trying to win the game. You know what I mean?
Even the Germany game, they're down, I believe, and they kept going down, and they came back with
Came back, yeah.
came
I
back
think
with
they were
two
they were
goals.
down 3-1, and then they came back again and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there you can see the team has strong
Fighting
belief.
spirit, yeah. They have a
Yeah, they have
fighting
some,
spirit
and that has to stem from the experience they have to get as a squad. And
as a
I think
unit, yeah.